Remain standing as we welcome the
Class
class
of
of 2026.
You all may be seated. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome to the WashU Law 2026 graduation ceremony. Looks like our graduates are finding their seats. Has everyone found a seat? It's tight in there, I know. Get some musical chairs going on. Just one moment, if you would. Okay, great. Okay, good. My name is Stephanie Lindquist, and I have the privilege to serve as WashU Law Dean, the Nickerson Dean, and Professor of Law. Today, we welcome you, the graduating class of 2026. Congratulations to all of you and to your friends and family members who are seated around you, who have helped you achieve this significant academic milestone. On this day, you take a significant step in entering or enhancing your participation in one of the most honorable and impactful professions in the world, the practice of law. Today, we celebrate the graduation of 403 students, including 252 earning the Juris Doctorate degree, 134 earning the Master of Laws, 15 the Master of Legal Studies, and 2 earning a doctoral degree in law known as the Juris Scientiae Doctoris. It is truly a significant day for the law school and for our remarkable students and their families. So happy that you're here. Before we begin with our awards and speeches, I would like to recognize the dignitaries, colleagues, and students on the stage. We will hold our applause until the recognition is complete, and I would ask the individuals to stand briefly when I call your name. To my left, I am pleased to welcome Trevor Gardner, Vice Dean for Research and Faculty Development and Professor of Law. Professor Sheldon Evans, serving as Grand Marshal for this ceremony. Professor Brian Tamanaha, the John S. Lehman University Professor and Faculty Voice of the class. Professor Danielle Donfro, Treman Professor and David Becker Professor of the Year. Mariah Fulfer-Page, Staff Member of the Year. And Professor Michael Kobe, Associate Dean for Graduate and International Programs. To my right is Kevin Collins, the Edward T. Foote II Professor of Law and Vice Dean for Academic Affairs. Professor Rich Finneran, named Adjunct Professor of the Year. Alicia McDonald, alumna of the Law School, Vice Chair of the Law National Council, and member of the WashU Board of Trustees. Cash Nickerson, alumnus of the Law School twice, Chair of the Law National Council, Distinguished Teaching Professor at the Law School, and member of the WashU Board of Trustees. Andrea Grant, WashU Law alumna, Law National Council member, and WashU Board of Trustees Emerita. Elizabeth Walsh, Associate Dean of Students. Kavita Oza, elected as the JD Voice of the Class of 2026. And Alicia Del Lago, an LLM graduate and elected Voice of the Class for graduate and international students. You will be hearing from Professor Tamanaha, Kavita, and Alicia shortly. In addition, we are joined on stage by the people who made today happen, our faculty, your mentors, your teachers, your supporters, and now your friends, always your friends. We thank them for the dedication to legal education, to their students, to the advancement of the rule of law, and for their commitment to WashU. Would all the law professors on the stage please stand and be recognized? Thank you. I'm also very pleased to recognize our 50-year reunion graduates from the class of 1976. They are not on the stage, but they are seated in a place of honor in the front row. And I'm going to call their names, and they're each going to individually stand. It is so exciting to have them back because I want you to think, graduates, that this is where you're going to be in 50 years. So very exciting to have them back. Incredible careers that they have had. So if you all would stand for me when I call your name. Jim Cahan, Mark Kivitz, Linda Kivitz, Robert Klein, Gail Levin, William Moore, Robert Nihus, Robert Rosen, Thomas Rozak, Lois Rozak, Henry Schmitz, Michael Schindler, James Thomas, and Joan Van Pelt. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and for being such an example to our graduates. Before we hear from our speakers, I would also like to recognize 3 award recipients who were elected via an election held by the Student Bar Association of all of our graduating students. The first is the David M. Becker Professor of the Year Award. Professor Becker was one of the most beloved professors in the history of WashU Law. He taught here for 50-plus years before his passing in April of 2023, and he left an enduring legacy of kindness, wisdom, and teaching excellence. This year's Becker Professor of the Year goes to Professor Danielle Donfro. Like Professor Becker, Professor Donfro is much loved by students at WashU Law. She has served on the Faculty of Law since 2016, teaching property, advanced private law, and corporation. This is Professor Donfro's second time winning this award. The first was in 2022. And I'd like to congratulate Professor Donfro if she would please step forward for her certificate. In addition to Professor of the Year, the SBA and the graduating students also vote to recognize an adjunct faculty member for outstanding teaching and service. And this year's recipient is Professor Rich Finneran. Professor Finneran is a WashU Law alumnus who graduated in 2008 and is a partner at Bryan Cave Leighton and Paisner LLP. He teaches constitutional law, criminal procedure, and appellate advocacy, and this is his 4th time winning this honor. He gives so much of himself to this law school, and I am truly gratified to have the opportunity to give you this award. Rich, if you'd step forward, please. The SBA and graduate students also recognize the importance of our staff to law school operations and to their success as students, and thus yearly recognize a staff member who is most deserved of recognition for outstanding service. This year, the award goes to Mariah Fulfer-Page, a senior director in the Career Center, who has supported and encouraged students and alumni for many years, especially through their efforts in securing judicial clerkships. Congratulations, Mariah, if you would come forward to receive the award. It is now my pleasure to introduce the speakers we will hear from today. Each of these speakers was elected by the student body. First, we will hear from the voice of the faculty, Brian Tamanaha, the John S. Lehman University professor. Professor Tamanaha is a renowned jurisprudence and law and society scholar and the author of 10 books and over 75 articles and book chapters, including a recent book release just this year in 2026 entitled The Truth About Natural Law, History, Theory, and Consequences. Following Professor Tamanaha's address, 2 of our graduating class members will speak. Representing the voice of the JD class, we have Kavita Oza. Kavita earned a BA in International Relations with a concentration in international economics and security policy, and minors in art history and sociocultural anthropology. And then she moved to New York to complete a master's in art business and build a career in art advisory and public relations. In law school, she served as a staff editor for the Jurisprudence Review, secretary of the South Asian Law Students Association, and taught law, gender, and justice to WashU undergraduates. She will begin her legal career at a New York law firm after graduation and is proud to carry forward her parents' and family's commitment to education and professional excellence with their continued support. Following Kavita, we will hear from Alicia Del Lago, who speaks on behalf of our graduate and international students. Alicia is a third-year law student at the University of Trento, Italy, and came to WashU in pursuit of a master's of law focusing on negotiation and corporate law. After the loss of her mom in 2022, she committed herself to pursuing her American dream with renewed determination, carrying that motivation into every step of her journey. With an affinity for both law and economics, she would like to become a transnational business lawyer. She will return to Italy to obtain a second degree in law. Wow. Today, her father, brother, and uncle are here celebrating with her, and the rest of the family and friends are watching from Italy. I would now like to invite Professor Tamanaha to the podium to deliver his remarks. Kavita and Alyssa will take the podium thereafter.
I'm deeply touched to have been asked to speak at your graduation, and I sincerely thank you for this honor. Before I get started, I want to apologize to anyone who I traumatized in first-year torts when I grilled you. I know it's a difficult experience to undergo, although I have fun when doing it. I do feel bad, and if you feel any rising anxiety in seeing me stand up in front of you, don't worry, I won't be calling on anyone today. Since becoming a law professor over 3 decades ago, I've attended more than 30 graduation ceremonies, and every time a speaker comes to the podium, I have exactly the same thought. I hope the speech doesn't go on too long. My goal today is to say something that's original, heartfelt, and brief. And like many graduation speakers these days, I logged on to ChatGPT and asked it to write me an inspiring original speech. That didn't work, however, because ChatGPT is cold-blooded and basically repeats what everyone else out there is saying. So I tore up the speech and decided instead to speak to you from the heart. ChatGPT told me to say that. My comments today will focus on just 2 points. One is the most important thing you should know about WashU Law, and the second is the most important thing you will do as lawyers. About WashU Law, you already know that we're one of the nation's premier law schools with outstanding students and faculty, an excellent group of deans and administrators, highly competent support staff, and a beautiful campus. It's a terrific place to learn about law. But many other law schools have these qualities as well. What makes WashU Law unique is the student culture that you collectively create and perpetuate. Not the faculty or administration, but you as a group, the students. I say this based on my experiences teaching at a half-dozen law schools in the course of my academic career. All law schools are highly competitive because law students are smart, ambitious, hardworking, want to get high grades, and land desirable jobs. In an environment like this, it's easy to get caught up in the competition, to see your fellow students as obstacles to your goals. But WashU Law students, while facing the same competitive pressures that exist in every law school, have instead created a culture that is supportive of one another, doing your best without bringing others down, creating a sense of fellowship in the pursuit of a common endeavor. This student culture is what makes WashU Law special. Not all law schools are like this. I commend you, I applaud you, and I thank you for making this a great place to be. This brings me to my second point. The most important thing you'll do in your future work as lawyers relates to the rule of law. The rule of law, put simply, is the ideal that government officials and people in society are generally bound by the law. Although American society is deeply divided today, politically, we've experienced difficult periods like this in the past. And the glue that holds our society together, what bridges our sharp political divisions, is a shared commitment on all sides to the rule of law. And while what I say applies specifically to American society, it applies to every society. To understand how crucial the rule of law is to our society, think for a moment about the fact that legal rules stand behind and support nearly everything we do, securing the conditions of our employment, taking out a loan, renting an apartment, buying and selling a house, entering contracts, protecting health and safety, being protected from accidents or attacks from others, running for political office, and dealing with government officials in a variety of contexts. All of this, and vastly more, operates through a backdrop of legal rules that create a general sense of security. If anything goes wrong, we know that we can seek help through law. Our society functions relatively smoothly thanks to this backdrop of legal rules. When scholars talk about the rule of law, usually they highlight the importance of judges in holding government officials and everyone else accountable to law. While I agree that judges are essential, in my view, they're not the fundamental basis for the rule of law in our society. I say this for the plain reason that only a tiny fraction of the countless situations involving law ever make it before a judge. Fundamentally, the rule of law is based on the everyday actions of lawyers when conducting transactions, advising and representing clients, and working in governmental legal positions. The danger, however, is that lawyers learn, both in law school and in practice, that legal rules can often be manipulated and twisted to obtain outcomes not supported by the facts or the law. The rule of law would collapse if most lawyers engaged in such manipulation most of the time. The crucial ingredient underlying the rule of law, therefore, is that lawyers in their everyday work must act in good faith. What this means concretely is that lawyers must have a reasonable basis for factual claims they assert and for legal positions they articulate. This obligation on the part of lawyers, remarkably, was initially articulated shortly after the famous Magna Carta, when the Statute of Westminster, enacted in 1275, explicitly prohibited deceptive pleading by lawyers. 7 centuries later, this obligation still exists in the professional rules that govern the conduct of lawyers, and it is reflected in the oath that you will take to uphold the law when you enter the bar. As you go out into legal practice, remember that the rule of law in our society depends on all lawyers living up to this commitment. And while you will frequently find yourself working in opposition to other lawyers, keep in mind that lawyers on opposing sides are not enemies, but rather, like your experience at WashU Law, we're all part of a collective endeavor to bring about the rule of law that is so essential to our society. In closing, congratulations, WashU class of 2026. I'm immensely proud of you, and I'm excited about your future careers. I will miss many of you that I got to know well, and I wish the best to all of you. Now let me introduce the voice of the JD class, Kavita Oza.
Good afternoon. My name is Kavita, and it is a privilege to welcome all of you to our commencement. I'm happy to confirm that, yes, I do feel like Elle Woods, so thank you for indulging me over the next 5 minutes. On the first day of orientation, we stood outside Grand Memorial Chapel in our suits, sweltering in the heat, yet brimming with excitement to learn the law. 3 years later, we've certainly done that, but standing here today, after reading thousands of cases, writing hundreds of pages of outlines, and consuming what must be a legally significant amount of St. Louis coffee, it's clear we were being trained for something much more important: responsibility. We all came here for different reasons. Some of us came to pursue an honorable profession. Others came to understand the world. Maybe some of us came hoping we could do a little bit of both. We all put our heads down and focused on mastering the law, thinking this would be the greatest challenge. But I think we were wrong. Somewhere between that first cold call and our last final, we learned something much harder. how to carry empathy and honor the responsibility we now hold. The law is vast, complex, and often uncertain. Law school helps us make sense of that complexity by showing us where the law comes from and teaching us how to think critically about where it's going. Our professors gave us the tools to analyze the law, apply it, and when necessary, they didn't hesitate to point out, in no uncertain terms, that we were getting it wrong. Professor Tamanaha, I am talking about you. But the most important lessons didn't come from the podium. They came from each other. It is our classmates who taught us the judgment necessary to carry the responsibilities of this profession with dignity and grace. In this class, I see a remarkable amount of humility, intellectual diversity, and resilience. We all come from different backgrounds, different politics, different experiences, and while those differences could have divided us, they didn't. They sharpened us. We learned judgment from each other's errors. We gained humility through celebrating our peers' brilliance. We developed argumentation skills by engaging with thoughtful opposition, and we became more resilient and more dedicated to this practice as the fabric of American jurisprudence was being questioned. These attributes do not come from doctrine. They come from the genuine connections we forge among ourselves, and that experience, getting to know all of you, has been the most rewarding aspect of my time as a law student. Law school taught me the law, but you all taught me what it means to be a responsible, thoughtful, and empathetic attorney. As I move into the next chapter of my legal career, I struggle to put into words how valuable this experience has been. Because while the law is powerful, it's only as good as the people who carry it forward. And the people at WashU Law are nothing short of exceptional. As someone on the older side of this class, I'm constantly in awe at the excellence among my peers. For example, some of us are pursuing multiple degrees at once, proving that excellence is multifaceted. Others, while facing profound personal loss, have continued forward and achieved remarkable success, showing us that excellence requires resilience. And many have worked tirelessly to earn positions in public service, reminding us that the law calls for a different kind of excellence too, one grounded in conviction, purpose, and a commitment to others. Taken together, our stories reveal a deeper truth. The real test of our legal education won't be how well we know the law. It'll be how wisely we use it. When I came to law school, I didn't know what I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to make my parents proud, and I hoped I would make a decent lawyer. Today, I stand in a very different space. When I think about the kind of lawyer I hope to become, I don't think about a single role model. I think about this class. As an attorney, I hope to carry a little of your curiosity, your courage, your compassion, and your conviction into every room I walk. It is with great pride that I say, if the future of the law looks anything like the graduates in this room, it will be thoughtful, fearless, and deeply human. To our incredible faculty, our dedicated loved ones, and our patient friends, thank you so much for your unwavering support in making these past 3 years so memorable. To my classmates, it has been the greatest honor to learn alongside you. I hope to meet you in the field, probably still over-caffeinated, but always ready to do the work. Thank you, and congratulations. And now I'd like to call up Alicia Del Lago, the student speaker for the Graduate and International Programs.
As Kavita said, I'm Alessia Lago, and I'm an LLM student from the University of Trento, Italy, and if you ask me, one of the law school's most popular exchange programs. Good morning, everyone, esteemed faculty, honored guests, my fellow graduates and friends. Today, we celebrate more than degrees. We celebrate dreams. I have often heard it said, the young people today are no longer hungry, that they prefer to settle at the easiest opportunity, that they carry less burdens, face fewer problems, and live easier lives. To anyone out there who still believes this, take a look at us all and where we're standing today. Whether we arrived here from another country, returned to school after years in practice, pursued advanced research, this idea could not be more mistaken. If you have not experienced it, you cannot truly understand it. What it means to stay up late into the night to complete school projects. Not to earn good grades, but earn the very best. You cannot fully grasp what it means to draft a professional resume with limited work experience, or to reshape years of professional identity, striving to prove that you are not only a brain, but also capable hands. Or to prepare for a language certification, master a new vocabulary, listening and practicing over and over again, knowing that at some point, you will have to switch into a new system, a new environment, a new language even. You will be scared that others may not fully understand you, or that you may not be able to express your ideas and emotions with the same natural ease. And when you walk back to your new home, whether across the ocean or across the city, one without those childish crayon lines on the walls, you will feel exhausted. It is difficult to explain what it means to pack your entire life into suitcases or into a decision to begin again, or what it means to cry in front of your family, unsure whether those tears are of joy or sadness. After some time, you will begin to respond with, "Have a good one," to the shuttle driver, and look forward to Sunday football on the TV. You will recognize the familiar shiver right before and after a cold call in class about a case you have not read, or the frustration over a misplaced citation in a memo that maybe no one else will read. There will come the first class, the first final, the first letter-shaped grade, and gradually the fear will fade. You will realize that a country does not define you, nor the way you speak or write, and you can truly belong anywhere. You will discover that home is not merely a place made of walls, but something built up of the people you meet along the way. But to build a house, you need materials, you need people, you need opportunities. And after my time here at WashU, I can proudly say I found them. I was able to build a new life from scratch and fill it with old and new, but amazing people. I learned that hard work is always repaid. Sometimes not immediately, and not always in the way you expect, but in growth, resilience, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you gave your very best. Yet, none of this happens without opportunity. Talent alone is not enough. Effort alone is not enough. We stand here today because life, education, and this institution opened doors for us, and because we had the courage to walk through them. Our journeys were different, but we shared the same courage to begin something new. Someone once said, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." I don't think we have ever been this hungry, nor this willing to be foolish in pursuit of something greater. Hungry enough to leave home, foolish enough to begin again, hungry enough to dream boldly, foolish enough to believe those dreams could come true. So go and follow your dreams. Cry when you must, scream when you need to. Allow yourself to feel angry, to remain curious, to take risks. But above all, never forget to love the people who supported you, the places that shaped you, and the person you are still becoming. And to cite my ancient Roman ancestors, Audaces fortuna juvat. Fortune favors the brave. Congratulations on your graduation, graduate international students. Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa, Kavita, Professor Tamanaha, for your beautiful speeches. I'm so grateful for sharing your thoughts and wisdom with us. We will proceed now as follows. Each student, in terms of recognizing our graduates, each student present will walk across the stage and shake hands with me. Hopefully you will turn toward the camera as you shake hands. Dan is over here. Hopefully you'll turn toward the camera as you shake hands with me and then exit the stage for a second photograph. Over here, okay. Our Dean of Students, Elizabeth Walsh, will assist in reading each student's name. Following the conclusion of this ceremony, we invite all of you to the food trucks parked on or near Mudd Field to celebrate your day. So they're fairly near or I think quite near the law school. Please also come inside AB Hall or near AB Hall to mingle with your fellow graduates, faculty, and me to have some drinks and some photo opportunities created for you by our events team on the 3rd and 4th floors of the building. We are now going to recognize the class of 2026.
Kavita Milind Oza.
Juris Doctor.
Alessia Dal Lago.
Master of Laws with a specialization in negotiation and dispute resolution.
Qianyi Wan.
Master of Laws.
Allison Louise Whitehead.
Juris Doctor.
Louis Reimer.
Juris Doctor.
Now presenting the candidates for Juris Scientiae Doctoris. Now presenting the candidates for Master of Laws in Intellectual Property and Technology Law. Shamsia Zaman B. Nazir. Lakshmi Ratnanjali Komula. Ming Xuan Ma. Kiran Sumedha Gupta Madhupali. Xu Qi Yang. Now presenting the candidates for Master of Laws. Malo Alferd. Muaz Musa Al-Ghamdi. Sarah Al-Jahani. Mohammed Al-Qahtani. Reem Al-Rashidi. Abdulaziz Al-Roba. Hanouf Al-Tamimi. Joseph K. Banks. Shujing Bian.
Jing Yuan Sai.
Hao Chong Chen. Shi Chen. Yaxin Deng. Zhengyang Di. Wengsen Dong. Jiajia Guo. Yun Guo. Xinrui Han. Yong He Han. Jin Kai Hao. Yiming Hu. Yixuan Huang. Yuran Huang. Zi Huang. Li Jia. Xianchu Li. Zilin Liao. Yuan Lin. Jia Liu. Xinhua Liu. Zixiang Liu. Jielu Luo. Junfei Liu. Rui Mao. Dean Mashkovich. Nuo Meng.
Jing Yi Chan, Master of Laws.
Jingyang Chu. Zihan Chu. Xu Xian Ren. Shangyu Shen. Yiting Shan. Yilei Shi. Zahong Sun. Hao Peng Tang. Jinchen Tang. Jing Ge Tian. Wen Tian. Tianchong Wang. Xuanwen Wang. Zixia Wang. Jinqi Wu. Wenjing Wu. Xinyu Wu. Yadong Wu. Zhi Yu Sheng. Ke Xin. Fan Shao Shu. Hong Yue Shu. Kexin Yan. Shanmei Yu. Renchou Yu. Yang Yu. Wen Wai Zhan. Anqi Zhang. Hanchu Zhang. Ran Zhang. Xiao Yizhang. Yu Zhang. Yuan Zhao Zhang. Tingran Zhao. Yifan Zhao. Haixu Zhen. Yukai Zhu. Yunxiao Zhu. Now presenting the candidates for Master of Laws with a specialization in negotiation and dispute resolution. Al-Walid Al-Saleh. Sara Katinari. Letizia De Pinto. Giovanni Feltraco. Song Liu. Milo Tobia Munarin. Now presenting the candidates for Master of Laws in U.S. Law. Abraham Aguirre Cruz. Kwadjo Akpabla. Yanjun Chen. Ziwei Chen. Celine Natalie Gallion. Jessica Montserrat Galvan Martinez. Erica Harden. Lindsay Ning Jia. Hui Xin Kao. Lia Li. Wanfeng Li. Xinyu Li. Rafaela Muraca. Xin Yishen. Xiao Nansun. Sasha Ulloa. Bruce Yang. Yunqi Yuan. Lingshan Zhen. Now presenting the candidates for Master of Laws in Taxation. Chura Bangun. Ruotung Gao. Alexis Wang. Now presenting the candidates for Master of Legal Studies. Whitney Bryant Wiggins. McFarlane Duncan. Emily Christine Fleming. Anna Logsden Greiner. Pam L. Harlan. Sierra Johnson. Tyler Newlon. Jenny Smith. Now presenting the candidates for Master of Legal Studies in Taxation. Emiko Bothwell. Elliot Kwarkupom Saki. Now presenting the candidates for Juris Doctor. Nico Acevedo. Victoria Aguilar. Nathan Akers. Ian F. Arneson. Farial Ashraf. Izzy Asulin. Glenn Asuo Asante. Christopher Babineau. Chloe Bambara. Patrick Bausch. Grayson Ray Bekius. Jazz Bennett. Samantha Bernard. Diana Bichet. Mustafa Blasi. Carlo Miles Bonacci. Nolan Bowerman. Rebecca Michelle Bowman. Jocelyn Elizabeth Brooks. Lauren Brown. Isaiah Butler. Christopher William Byron Jr. Cassidy Jewel Calhoun. Julia Canellis. Grace Carpenter. Caroline Casola. Nai Ching Chang. Corway Chow. Liz Hao Chen. Luna Cho. Jae Hyuk Choi. Andrew Clark. Andrew Clausen.
Finley Cobb.
Cobb. Luke Kobos. Hotzio Colado. Blake Chrétien Como. Aidan Michael Connerty. Chloe Cugino Zensky. Megan Janice Demo. Meredith DeStasi. Mike Dittert. Lucas Dowdle.
Elizabeth Grace Dowdle.
Isabel Earl. Kelly Elms. Noah Epstein. Jonathan Wesley Ferguson. Ali Filichikia. Savannah Rose Fisher. Peter Fletcher. Laura Freimeyer. Michael Gatan. James Demetrios Gazis. Tasha Gentry. Amanda Nicole Gibaudo. Riley Gilliland. Elizabeth Marie Gobliersch. Tyler Goodfriend. Hallie Grace Gordon. Lena Greenspan. David Lai Gay. Udet Gupta. Jalen Eric Hankins. Ali Harper. Gavin Hart. Ashrakat Hassan.
Ashrakat was also our Jack Garden Humanitarian Award winner.
Dalton Storm Haynes. Ramond Jamar Shepard Hines. Yan Huang. Mary Inger Hogsett. William George Horn III. Chulin Huang. Carter Hurley. Dylan Hayden. Vincent Nsinga. Zachary Irovando. Maxine Iwuchukwu. Ethan D. Cadet. Manat Kalkat. Alyssa Kapasi. Grace M. Cowell. Rahul Kiranur. Jessica Kingarski. Indigo Asante Kellam. Kyle Kendall. Chandra Keplinger. Gina Kiami. Keelan Marion Kilbane. David Kim. Matthew Kim. Adam Kleist. Ethan Knoll. Eric Kubo. Dana Lamkin. Jaden Asher Lanza. Erin Margaret Lane.
Erin was our National Association of Women Lawyers Award recipient.
Ming Yuan Lee. Yunshu Lee. Jishuan Lee. Juasun Lee. Meng Yao Lin. Keith Lindsay. Peng Liu. Jeremiah Lizier Żmuzinski. Beverly Rose Lobo. Marcus Lobo. Brian Longino. Caitlin Lovingfoss. Elizabeth Noreen Lutz. Alice Ann Marin.
Anthony Massara.
Lauren Patricia Monder. Townsend Lewis Walters McDonald. Ryan McGoffin. Clarence McGuire III. Jacob Taylor McLean. Cleo M. Medina. Elliot Abraham Mermel. Lowell Mesfin. Madison Louise Messenger. Emily Adele Miller. Donovan Moore. Emma Moore. Christopher Murphy. Madison Neath Gordon. Adriana No. Feng Ha Win. Ann Noble. Grace Obimdike. Harold Nicholas Ogilvie Thompson. Vanessa Imudia Okoji Hampton. Catherine Marie O'Quinn. Adesola Adeola Orogade. Fanny Osram. Ethan Palais. Matthew Palmer. Adia Parker. Haley Perrin. Anna Elizabeth Peters. Nicole Phelps. Alexandra Pigeon. Caroline Piskarich. Andrew Porter. Lane Quick. Olivia Christina Quinn. Divya Rajagopalan. Tariq Raji. Noah Ravan. Jack Reeder. T-Bone Rewald. Jin Yuan Tran. Tristan Rinholm. Gabriella Morgan Riskus. Caleb Ritzheimer. Brian Roberts. Emma Raisler. Reyen Rojas Munoz. Esteban Rondon. John Ross. Parker Roy. Ethan Matthew Rosenzweig. Kirill Rudnikov. Alyssa Ruiz. Charles Rutherford. Leor Sachs. Alicia Rafael Science. Daniel Salih. Nicole Delaney Sanders. Michelle Saparzadeh. Nishitha Shetty. Min Hyun Chen. Sealy Sykes. Steven Skopek. Jessica Sobel. Jacob Solis. Shannon Stahl. Robert Cohen Steffens. Greg Stiefvater. Delaney Swan. Ashley Tavares. Tommy Joy Taylor. Carrington Tome. Kevin Thompson. Molly Sutton Tott. Sarah Tyler. Tina Valentin. Catherine Bryn Valeriat. Anastasia Walczak. Ryan Walter. Jeffrey Wang. Sophia Wang. Ting Fei Wang. Wen Huang Wang. Tamar Weinger. Nyla Weinstein. Caden Williams. Danielle Williams. Cameron Alexander Willis. Perry Wilson. Chiwei Darian Wu. Sherry Wu. Susan Wu. Emily Werdak. Ruejie Shah. Chukxiong Chu. John Young. Shilin Yu. Vanessa Zhang. Hengyang Zhan. Michael Zhang.
Yu Zhao.
Rachel Zagelski. Nathan Zhou. Anna Zuo. Now presenting the candidates for Juris Doctor and Master of Laws with a specialization in negotiation and dispute resolution. Nia Simone Brown. Jonathan Paul Crosmer.
Jonathan is the recipient of the Dan Carter Earl Tedrow Memorial Award.
Rufus L. Moore III. Brandon Smith. Now presenting the candidates for Juris Doctor and Master of Laws in Taxation. Hao-Xiong Gu. Matthew Ryan Hemmersmeyer. David T. Hurst, Jr. Tanvi Kumar. Shuchen Liu. Andrea Elizabeth Miller. Connor Wing. Now presenting the candidates for Juris Doctor and Master of Business Administration. Zach Cohen. Now presenting the candidates for Juris Doctor and Master of Public Health. Julia Irene Evancho. Now presenting the candidates for Juris Doctor and Master of Social Work. Emma English. Jenica Marie Wilden.
Master of Legal Studies.
Jack Sharp.
Juris Doctor.
Andrew Jianling Shen.
Juris Doctor.
Jonathan Michael Fisher.
Master of Legal Studies.
Yunkin Jen.
Master of Laws.
Gary Swan Yu Liu.
Juris Sciente Doctoris.
Katie Zhang.
Master of Laws in Intellectual Property and Technology Law.
Yuan Gao.
Master of Laws.
Thank you, everybody. You may be seated. I was going to ask you to give a warm round of applause to the class, but clearly that was not necessary. I want to thank you for your enthusiasm today. It really is a beautiful, beautiful experience spending it with our graduates and their families and with our faculty and staff. So thank you, everyone. I want to thank all of our graduates who now are our alumni. I want to thank you for joining WashU and for being our students. You bring great energy and joy and inspiration to our work as faculty and staff, and you make what we do truly meaningful. And we are so grateful that you now are among the ranks of our alumni. You will be hearing from us. I just want to say a few words in closing, a few thoughts about your future. First, as lawyers, you will serve as pillars of your communities. You will resolve disputes. You will protect individual rights. You will facilitate business transactions. You will run for political office. You will become CEOs and judges and managing partners. And you will end up, and I promise, chairing every committee you ever serve on. In short, you will become society's economic and governance engineers. You will lead because that's what good lawyers do. And you will lead ethically, with integrity, and with care and attention to those less fortunate than you, because you are now a WashU lawyer. We like to say that WashU Law is where creative legal minds are set in motion. Well, you are now in motion. Go out and provide support and comfort and guidance and sound legal advice to the world's citizens. May you find immense success in your pursuit of justice, because I have every confidence in your success. Now it is time for us to celebrate. So we will be joining you back at Anheuser-Busch Hall for a celebration, and then Mudfield as well, as I mentioned previously. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to the families here, and friends. I'm sorry, one more thing. I think the platform party will probably move out off the platform and out toward the back, and then everyone else can file out. I believe that's the way we're managing it. Is that true? Okay. The platform party is going to get up and move out, and then everyone else will leave. Thank you so much, everybody. See you over at AB Hall.